Welcome back to Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and in this video, I want to go over WorkHorse stock. So there was some news that came out about options trading with this stock. I want to explain to you guys why options probably aren't the best play for WorkHorse, why holding shares is probably your better bet. And so a couple hours ago, we had an article published titled "Options Traders Target WorkHorse Stock Amid Meme Stock Frenzy." And so pretty much what I want to cover here with this article is right here. There are 115,000 calls compared to 24,000 puts, and the most options are expiring at the end of this week. So June 11th, a lot of these options expire. And so we have 15 strike calls, and then we have 20 strike calls in the same series. If we go further, we have an unwinding of short interest that could push WorkHorse even higher. There's ample buying power. In fact, short interest has jumped 23.5% over the last few periods, and that is about 47.54 million shares sold short, representing 72.6% of the available stocks. There's a lot of people that are trying to short this, but options are not the best way to make this stock go up. In the short term, yes, it is great to see that people are buying call options, but because they expire at the end of this week, what is going to happen after that Friday? You need to understand, when you buy and hold a share, you are locking up your shares. Nobody can borrow your shares. Nobody can take your shares. Nobody can use your shares to manipulate the price action, because you bought the share, you have it, it's there, it's got off the market, it's no longer in the flow. And so why I wanted to bring up this article is because I believe when you have a stock with such short interest, call options can make you money very quickly, but in the long run, they aren't the best way to capitalize on a very high shorted stock. The reason why I say that is because options have an expiration date. Once those call options or those put options expire, what happens? The shares are back onto the market and we go back from scratch. So when you have a lot of these calls, there is some buying pressure within that options expiration, but because market manipulators and big hedge funds also have access to what people have their strike prices at, there is a good chance that a lot of people will not make the money. And the reason why I say that is because, let's say in this case, they say they have $15 strike calls and they have $20 strike calls. Let's say on expiration date, you don't hit that $15 strike call, but that Monday, because all these options have expired now, you see the price rocket up a couple dollars. So the reason why I'm saying options are dangerous in an environment when a stock is heavily shorted is because there are higher powers in the market that have a control of where the price wants to go. And so when everybody is on call options, that doesn't mean that everybody's going to make money. It's usually the opposite. When everyone goes one way, the price ends up going the other way. So me seeing a ton of call options is extremely bullish in that short period of time, but I want to see people holding the shares. I don't want to see people trying to make a quick buck off of options, but I can't have control of that. If you want to make your money through options, then by all means go ahead, but you are playing with fire, because let's say Friday comes, June 11th, and your options expire worthless, but then that following Monday, the stock squeezes up. You're going to look at your options like, I went so heavy into these options, expired worthless, but then the next trading day, the stock price explodes, because that is just how options work. Prices get manipulated so the masses can't make the money. And then once those options are expired, that's when the price starts to kind of let loose a little bit. And so I always want to remind you guys, with very high shorted stocks, the best way to capitalize is simply to buy and hold. Don't try to outsmart the system. If you do want to buy call options, I would highly recommend to also buy common shares as well. And if you actually are able to cash in on your options, transferring them to an actual share position seems like a very strong bet to make. And so I'm very excited to see that a lot of people are buying call options on the stock, but I do want people to understand that the squeeze may not happen tomorrow or this week, maybe not even next week, but it could happen a month from now. And if you got these options that you blew a lot of money on that expired worthless, then you're gonna be very upset at yourself. I'm just saying this because that's the name of the game. If you wanna save yourself the headache and all the anxiety that comes along with it, just buy and hold the stock. Let the options traders do what they want to do. Let them control the price for how long they can, because it's a battle between the hedge funds and the retail investors. And the beautiful thing about a heavily shorted stock is when you have a lot of hedge funds that are short, there are also going to be a lot of other hedge funds that are going to buy up the shares because they're going to burn those hedge funds while making a ton of money. And so that is my favorite part of the game. And that is kind of what we're seeing right now with AMC. As the price starts to go higher, more and more hedge funds are going to continue to short. But then there's going to be opposing hedge funds that are going to continue to buy. And so that is going to burn those hedge funds that are shorting. And so I expect the same situation to happen with WorkHorse. I feel like right now there is this hype and there's energy around WorkHorse. People want to buy call options that expire as soon as possible to try to make as much money. I'm going to let you guys know that is not the best idea and the best way to play this. Simply just buy and hold your shares. Let the game come to you, because at this point you have all the power in WorkHorse. The people who are shorting this stock are the ones that are sweating. You don't want to be sweating for a stock that is eventually going to go up because your options expired worthless, but then the stock price ends up doubling the next day. For your own sanity, I would highly advise, if you are in this for a purpose and you want to see the share price go up, just simply buy and hold the common shares, and that is going to do way more than you think, because not only is it going to be you buying and holding, there may be big hedge funds that put a huge stake into WorkHorse, and once that happens, that continues to start a domino effect where we start to see crazy swings in price action. And so the best way to play this is you want to get the hedge funds on your side, but call options are not going to be doing that, because that is a temporary movement in share price, and once those options expire, we end up going right back to scratch, and that actually favors the hedge funds. So just simply buy and hold. You'll get teamed up with other hedge funds who are going to see an opportunity where they can see a squeeze on the horizon, and because they have very large sums of money, they know that this is the way to go. And so once hedge funds start to roll in on WorkHorse, remember, they don't want to deal with short-term capital gains, so they're going to hold a lot longer than most people would, and that is when you make the real money. So right now we're at the beginning of this short squeeze. We are still in this options frenzy phase where people think they can make a quick buck on WorkHorse. But believe me, just buy and hold your shares, and this price will be way higher than what you bought it at, and you won't be just flipping pennies. You'll be making real money without dealing with short-term capital gains, and so a lot of other tax implications by just simply buying and holding. I know I've been saying that, but I want to continue to reiterate the fact of how important it is to just simply buy and hold. So right now we're looking at WorkHorse on the daily time frame. Today we were up 6%. We had a pretty volatile day today, but I want to show you guys what they call a super trend indicator. So the super trend indicator basically gives you real life buy and sell signals for any sort of stock that you're looking at. So if I show you guys right now where we are in this chain, our super trend indicator is telling us that we are in a buy zone. So for the last little while, we have been in a sell zone. And so right at this point, when we broke above our 50 SMA is when we had our buy signal. And this is where I was telling people to start buying and holding this stock. Can this explode in the short term? Of course, but we aren't here for the short term run. We know that there is a larger prize at the end of the rainbow. And I've learned with AMC, if you just simply buy and hold, you are going to capitalize a lot more and you're going to be a lot happier in the long run. And so don't try to play with options because you are playing fire with fire in that sense. Yes, you can make some money, but you can also lose a ton of money as well. Whereas in this case, you are holding shares of a growth company that has a pretty strong foundation. We have a large stockholder and shareholder base. We have a lot of information out there on EVs, and this is just going to be a narrative that continues to get stronger and stronger as EVs start to dominate our entire world. And so overall, you can see our price action is well above our 50 SMA. If you have yet to get into WorkHorse, potentially a back test on our 50 SMA would be the place and the time to get in on WorkHorse. If we do get price action at this point, I will add to my position on WorkHorse because again, I am going to just buy and hold this stock. And so overall today we were up 6.82%. Pretty solid day overall on the first week of trading. So if you guys enjoyed this quick little update on WorkHorse, don't forget to like. We are on the road to 10K subs. So if you made it to this point, feel free to hit that subscription button. This is Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.